At Lakefield, we have so many amazing Movember activities, from pulling the fire truck, little activities like shaving balloons and just to spread awareness, but I think sometimes we can get caught up in those really fun activities and we forget about what the root of the problem is, and that's the seriousness behind it. And that's why Lily and I came up with this idea to talk to the men in our community, talk to people who support this movement, and all understand what Movember really is and what the root of it is.
And we see so many men in our community rising up to talk about feminist issues and get behind us. And so we believe that it's really important to be allies to the men in our community and support them in their efforts to talk about men's mental health.
So I've been really fortunate. I've done Movember since 2007, and that's really what opened my eyes to talking about men's health. At first I did it because you grow a mustache and it's ridiculous and it's all fun and games. But then when Movember added mental health to it, it was such an important layer, and it was so very needed. I remember going up to my dad and saying like, hey, when's your next physical? And he looked at me like I had 4 heads. And now it becomes a thing. I'm like, how are you feeling? And then I look at, he says, yeah, I'm good. And I say, no, but how are you feeling? And then I wait. And that awkward silence is really painful for people of any age, really. And so, that silence is important. And that time that you give them to think about how they really are, and you leave that air open for them, and you just use your ears, is magic. And I think that's how we're going to keep those conversations going. Together, we can do this. We can change the face of men's health and break the stigma, right? It is our complete health that keeps us going.
The men I admire most in my life are my brothers and my dad, because my dad being able to take care of all my siblings and make us have a better life than he did when he was a kid has made me realize that when perseverance is a good thing to have in your life. Because if you're always chasing your goals, then nothing can stop you.
The men that mean the most to me would be my father to start with. Unfortunately, he had passed with cancer, so that's obviously always near and dear to me. And then my own 3 sons, my brothers, everyone in my life. So I think focus on men's health and an awareness of sharing that awareness amongst everyone is really important.
I really admire my grandfather. He means a lot to me. He's been around for all my life. He was there when I was born, and he's there now. I see him consistently almost every month. He's taught me almost everything I know. He made me figure out what I want to do. He's a really smart guy. I really admire him.
Definitely the people who inspire me most are the grads from last year and my head of house. They've just inspired me to become a better person, more respectful, more honest, and I really wouldn't be the person I am today without him.
I'd say that one of the men that I admire most in my life is my Don Lee. He's provided me with a lot of guidance, and he's kept all the boys in our house on the right track. And he's also personally taught me a lot about confidence and being true to who you are.
The men I most admire in my life are my dad and my grandfather. They obviously mean a great deal to me because they're my immediate family, and especially my dad has really taught me to be a strong and courageous woman. And my grandfather actually passed away from prostate cancer a couple years ago. So that was hard.
The most important men in my life are my dad, my uncle, and my grandfather, who passed away when I was younger. And something that they've continuously all taught me throughout my entire life is just to be true to who I am and to always just remember that I'm loved and they support me continuously, and that's something that I'll always take with me, and I really want to love them back with everything I have. And I think that's why men's mental health is so important, and it's so important for them to know that they're also loved just as much as they love me.
I'm so fortunate to have so many men in my life who I admired, and I want to keep them around. Sadly, I lost my dad to prostate cancer, and he was quite young. It's actually his birthday tomorrow. He would have been 73. So I don't want that to happen to the other men that I care about so much. And so take care of yourselves and make sure you get checked. And if you need help, get help.
I try to grow a mustache the best I can. Basically just show my support to the people who are like maybe going through some tough times.
I grow it for those out there who are struggling in silence, don't know how to voice it or ask for help, and just show my support and show that I'm with them.
It's one thing to talk to an adult role model or your parents or teachers, but your friends really get you, and I think it's important to keep friends that you can really trust around so that you're able to talk to them and able to discuss mental health with them.
So I think the main problem around men's mental health is how we express ourselves when we are having poor mental health. And I think that just kind of roots from stereotypes for men, like masculinity, like how we've been taught in schools and stuff. We need to do a better job of kind of teaching people ways to kind of deal with those mental health struggles in a way that will actually make them feel better instead of just feel worse.
I think that a lot of guys think that this is something that affects our masculinity, but I think as I've matured, I've grown to learn that sometimes talking about it actually helps.
I believe that it doesn't affect your masculinity at all. I think men around the world put on this image that they're big and tough, but really inside men need to realize that it is okay and it's healthy to come out and talk and not put on the image that we are portrayed to be. And I think it's very difficult for some men to come forward about this, but it's important for everyone to know this.
I grew up like not really being comfortable sharing my emotions, and so as I've gotten older and I've realized how important it is to share, and part of being a man and part of your masculinity is sharing, and it is mental health challenges, and it is everything else that everyone else deals with. So I think that's been shifted over the years, and I think through Movember it's really shifted even my own comfort around sharing.
Yeah, I don't think it affects your masculinity, because like when you're burying things in and like keeping things in, it's only hurting you. And I like the stereotype of being a man is like being big and strong, and I think like the strong thing for people to do is to like be honest with themselves and recognize like things that are going on in their lives and like opening up about them.
I think a way to normalize it would be bringing attention to like celebrities or people in the world that do have mental health issues that are well known, and so bringing awareness to that would show that there is people in our lives that are fighting those battles themselves, but that they're still able to keep going on with their lives and try to improve it. And so seeing other people go through those things would give us the motivation to like power through if we have the same kind of issues.
I think that a good way to further the conversation of men's mental health throughout the entire year is to have one day a week, say a Mental Health Monday, where you just took into consideration your mental health, and maybe if it's only for an hour, go and do something for your mental health or bring awareness to your mental health, and also accepting the fact that you need to talk about your mental health and bringing awareness to the importance of it is a good way to keep it going throughout the entire year.
I think that real men, next gen men, if you will, we're changing the face, and that's what Movember's about. It's about having a mustache so that it changes the face of men's health, because something needs to change. 60 men will die in this hour alone from suicide. And if we think about that, we think about all the men in our lives whom we love, whom we want in our lives for a long time, we need to make sure that we change the face of men's health and make masculinity that strength in talking about all aspects of our health.